It was the year 2033, 20 years after the outbreak of the cordyceps fungus. The world was a desolate wasteland where the remnants of humanity struggled to survive in a world overrun by infected monsters. Ellie was a young girl, born after the outbreak, who had grown up in this harsh world. She had been trained by Joel, a seasoned survivor, to be tough and resourceful. Together, they had traveled across the United States, facing untold dangers and horrors. One day, they came across a small community that seemed to be thriving. The people there had managed to fortify their town and protect themselves from the infected. They had crops growing, livestock, and even electricity. Joel and Ellie were welcomed with open arms and given a place to stay. At first, everything seemed perfect. The people were friendly, the food was plentiful, and the town was safe. But as time went on, Ellie began to notice strange things happening. People would go missing, and no one seemed to know where they went. There were whispers of something sinister happening in the town, but no one would talk about it. One night, Ellie woke up to a blood-curdling scream. She quickly got up and ran outside to see what was happening. She saw a group of people dragging a woman into a dark alley. Ellie knew she had to do something, so she followed them. As she crept closer, she saw that the people were not just dragging the woman, but they were tearing her apart with their bare hands. They were infected, but they were different from any that Ellie had ever seen. They were stronger, faster, and more intelligent. They seemed almost human, but with an insatiable hunger for flesh. Ellie realized that this community was not just surviving, but they were actively experimenting on the infected, trying to create a new breed of monster. They were sacrificing their own people to create these creatures, and they were getting closer and closer to success. Ellie knew that she had to warn Joel and get out of there before it was too late, but it was already too late. The people of the town had discovered her presence and were now hunting her down. Joel and Ellie fought for their lives, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. They were forced to flee into the forest, pursued by the infected creatures created by the community. It was a harrowing journey, full of close calls and narrow escapes. Finally, after days of running and hiding, Joel and Ellie made it to safety, but they knew that the threat was still out there. The community of the town was still experimenting and creating new monsters, and they knew that they had to stop them. They spent months planning and preparing for the final showdown. They knew that it would be a suicide mission, but they had no other choice. They had to stop the community and put an end to the horrors that they were creating. In the end, Joel and Ellie succeeded in destroying the community and putting an end to their experiments. But the victory was bittersweet. They had lost so much, and they knew that the world would never be the same. As they walked away from the ruins of the community, Joel turned to Ellie and said, "We've come a long way, kiddo, but there's still a long way to go." And with that, they continued on their journey into a world that was still full of dangers and horrors, but also hope and possibility.